This is Chris Kelly with your Peak Fitness hip lift progression. Really, the hip lift is a good alternative to standing hip dominant exercises. So it's the same concept. We're still trying to work kind of the backside of the backside of the legs, the backside of the body, but we're doing it in a horizontal position. So we're against the floor. It's a little bit the angle is a little bit different, and therefore the effect will be a little bit different as well. So with that said, our first progression or our first exercise is a floor hip lift here, and really this is the foundation, one of the foundational exercises that we will do for both corrective exercise and strength training. And what I'm going to ask the client to do is just lie on their back, press their back down on the ground, press their hands down on the ground, tighten their abs. All right, this is going to kind of initiate what's called a posterior pelvic tilt. And what I'm looking for here is lifting from the hip only. Oftentimes when people do a bridge, they bridge from everything, from here and here, and what we're looking for is movement from the waist only. When this part comes up, they're working the back and just areas that we're not looking to train. So what I'm going to ask them to do, once again, feet spread shoulder width apart, feet forward, pressing into the floor, lifting from the hip only. And you'll notice with this, very little comes off the floor. I mean, it's not a crazy lift, but it's really working what I'm trying to do here. And again, I'm pressing my knees apart slightly, I'm tightening my butt cheeks, and I'm really trying to just keep my abs tight and keep this posterior tilt going on. The client will comment they're going to feel it in their stomach and in their butt. They might have some quad. That's okay. If they don't feel this, what I want the client to do, what I want you to cue them to do, press through the outside of the feet, press through the heels, and they can lift the toes slightly to get more emphasis on the butt if they're feeling this maybe in somewhere like the hamstring. So that is the starter progression. Now from here, what we're going to do is just elevate the back a little bit. All right. So this is what is called Bosu, elevated hip lift. The same rules apply. My abs are tight. I'm raising from my hips only, pausing at the top, and I'm coming back down. This just increases the angle of the resistance a little bit. This is going to make it just a little bit more, not harder, but just a little bit more, I guess, intense. And again, pausing at the top, squeezing my butt cheeks together, and coming back down. Now from here, our final progression would be a shoulder elevated hip lift. So for this, what I'm going to ask the client to do is just hang out here over a bench, head is supported, they can back up a little bit, drop the hips, and extend up. Really push through the heels, come back down, same rules apply. And really once we get to this level, we can put things on the pelvis like a weight, a sandbag would be a good alternative, a barbell, or just things like that to increase the resistance. And our other progression for the hip lift would be a single leg hip lift. So again with this, I'm going to start on my back. My abs are tight, I'm pressing my back into the ground. One foot is up in the air, raising from the hip only. Again, pressing through the heel and the outside of my foot, pausing and coming back down. Okay, from here, we're going to move back up to the Bosu. Back is supported on the Bosu, head is on the Bosu, one foot is up, hip into the ear, pause, come back down, pressing down the floor, tightening the abs, pausing and coming back down. Final progression, shoulder elevated hip lift on the bench. One foot is up. Very difficult with this one. There's an element of instability here because the body wants to rotate this way. So just keep those abs tight, press up, come down. And once you get to this level, that's a very hard move indeed. So we would go through the double leg hip lift progression, then either load that up or move back to the single leg hip lift progression, and that is your Peak Fitness hip lift progression.